So as we inhale, bringing our attention up to the crown of the head. And as we exhale, floating your attention down through the body, down to the tailbone. Inhaling to the crown. Exhaling to the tail. We'll take a few more breaths, heaven and earth. So from this position of sitting in your yoga seat, we're going to do a little joint freeing. Then we'll come down and do some somatic poses on the floor. So let's start by turning your head to the right and the left. And this is just kind of a free movement. Find where you're loose and maybe go up to the point where you're tight. And we're just swinging the head from side to side, and I'll be welcoming Sarah into the class. Hi, Sarah. We're recording, just so you know. So we're just in our yoga seat, and we're doing a little head rotation from side to side. We're starting with a little joint freeing. And this is going to be a super gentle class today. We'll come back to center, and let's take the chin up and down. And please tune into your neck as you move through these positions. You can keep this small with just a little bit of movement, or bigger. See what your neck wants. Up and down with the chin. And we'll come back to center. Now we're going to take the right ear toward the right shoulder. And if you're looking at yourself on your screen, your face should still be facing forward. And the left ear to the left shoulder. So side to side, tilting the head. Lubricating the joints of the neck. And let's come back to center. So now we're imagining that there's a sheet of glass right in front of the nose, and we're going to draw a circle with the nose on that glass. Let's start really small. And then if it's feeling okay, you can get a little bigger. And if it's feeling great, you can get really big. Let's go the other way, starting small in the other direction. And possibly getting larger. And larger. And we'll come back to center. Right hand on the floor, left arm reaches over the head. So you're touching your right ear. And we're going to press down into the right hand and lift up through the left elbow. Getting that nice stretch around the left armpit. Now we're going to bend the right elbow and really lean toward the right. So this is going to send that stretch down the left side. Again, your face is facing forward. You can take a couple of breaths here. And we'll come back to center. Left hand down, right arm up and over the head. Pressing down through the left and lifting through that right elbow. And then bending that left elbow and really leaning over to the left side, getting a longer stretch down the right side. Breath is flowing. And back to center. And we're going to interlace the hands behind the head. Left elbow up, right elbow down, and you're facing forward. Inhale, center. Exhale to the other side, right elbow up. Inhale, center. Exhale, left elbow up. Inhale, center. Exhale, right elbow up. Inhale, center. And let's bring our hands down to the shoulders. We're going to circle the elbows, lubricating the shoulder joints. And other direction. Good, we're going to arch and curl. So elbows come together, curl your head forward, curl in the spine. Exhale. Inhale, elbows come up and over, lift the chin, arch. Exhale, curl. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curl. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curl. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curl. Inhale, arch. Let's come back to center and we'll reach our arms out to the side and we're going to make little circles. Thumbs up. And then thumbs down. We'll circle the other way. And goalpost arms. And I'd like your elbows where you can just see them out of your periphery. Just barely see your elbows and try to keep them in that position. We're going to fan the hands and the forearms down. And try to keep those elbows stable. And down is for your rotator cuff. And up. And you can fan down a little farther if your joints permit. You can fan back a little farther if your joints permit. Try to keep those elbows in the same place. We'll do a few more. You can do these on your own time now. Good, and shake it out. Let's come on down to the ground. We're going to do a few somatic exercises. And a little bit of core work. So I'll meet you on your back with your knees bent, feet on the floor. Stretch our arms out to the side. We'll start with the wash rag. So feet side by side, knees together. We're going to try to keep our knees kind of glued together for now. And we'll start down there with the knees. Some part of your foot stays on the floor as you sway the knees from side to side. Right now we're just looking at the sky. Rolling through the back of the hips. Now we're going to add the head, so head goes opposite the knees, and let the head be heavy like a bowling ball rolling it through the floor. Knees go one way, head goes the other. Now we're going to add the arms, so your arms are going to roll like rolling pins right out of your shoulder joints. And we're going to be looking toward an up turned hand, fingers spread wide, all fingers touching the ground. And then roll the other way. Look at the other hand. The hand you can't see is turning down. Still fingers spread wide, all fingers touching. And we'll come back to center, and we'll bring our arms down by your sides, separate our feet a little bit. Let's do a little somatic inquiry. So what are you feeling in your body? What are the loudest sensations, the things you feel the most? And maybe what are a couple of quieter sensations, things that are very subtle sensations? We're going to bring our hands up above the heart, and we'll do the rope climb. So we're going to start with our feet planted on the ground and keep our hips stable on the ground as we lift one shoulder toward the sky, and then bring that shoulder down and lift the other shoulder to the sky. And the head can just roll as it wants to. So we're going to go side to side. Right now we're just climbing rope with our arms and shoulders. See if you can get into a little rhythm with this. And now we're going to add the hip, and you can let the knees sway a little bit to accommodate that motion. Imagine you're climbing rope with your whole body. See if you can find a rhythm with this. And we'll come back to center, arms by your side, just letting all those sensations kind of settle down. Let's see if we can now find the sensation of our breath coming and going. Inviting yourself to release and be free in all the places where you can feel the breath moving. The breath touches a spot, it kind of opens the door. One thing you might notice as you practice, if you are in an emotional time, if you've been emotionally challenged recently, the body kind of holds, it kind of squeezes in certain places, and you might have your particular places. It could be around the solar plexus, it could be in the belly or near the hips or near the heart, the neck. We all have our place of hanging on. You can use this just feeling the breath time to reopen those places. Be gentle with yourself, you know. We're hanging on for a reason, right? We're trying to hang on. But maybe the breath just sweeps to that spot where you feel a little bit of contraction or holding. And it just reminds that spot to soften and open. Let's do a few more breaths, just opening all the tight spots. Good. Let's bring our knees toward our hands so we can hang on to the kneecap. And we'll do the egg beaters. So we're using our arms to move the knees in opposite circles like an egg beater and really lubricating the joints. Let's go the other way, reversing the egg beater circles. And we'll come back to our starting point. Apanasana. So the knees are close together, they're parallel. And we're going to, as we exhale, we're going to use the hands to draw the knees back, and we're pushing the air out of the lower space. As we inhale, we're going to let the arms straighten and the knees fall away a bit, only as long as the arms will let them, and making space for your air. Drawing these back to exhale, really emptying your air, and then straightening the arms, filling with air again. So let's see if we can find a rhythm with that. Pressing the air out and then releasing the press. Do a few on your own. And let's morph this into the larger bellow. So we're going to stretch our arms back behind us and the feet down below. Point your toes, reach back through the hands. Inhale. And we'll bring the right leg up, surround it with the arms, and press your air out. You could lift your head to the knee, that's optional. So when you're ready to inhale, sweep long. And on the exhale, put the other knee up. And this pattern will be right knee, left knee, then both knees. So follow your breath now in this big air in, air out pose. And you can take as long as you need for each movement to really move the breath. We'll do one more round and let's meet up in knee hug. When you get into knee hug, let's settle the head down on the floor and just keep the knees stable but roll the head a few times side to side. Nice heavy bowling ball. And we'll rock the whole body side to side. So I'd like to do one big immunity pose that was on our request list today. And you might benefit from having blocks for this because we're going to do it yin style. We're going to hold the pose for a while. So the blocks will go near your hips. And we're going to start by crossing our ankles and then letting your feet can be on the ground and let the knees fall wide like you're sitting cross-legged but you're laying down. And we're going to lift our knees just a little bit to bring the blocks in. So you're not in your full stretch, you're just a little bit shy of that. Remember, you can use any side of the block. And the farther you bring the blocks in toward the center line, the more support you're getting. The farther you move them out, it'll be lighter support. We've got the legs in place. Now we're going to reach our arms back behind the body, stretch back through your fingers. Bend at the elbows and slide your right hand under your left shoulder blade, left hand under your right shoulder blade. You will have crisscrossed your forearms and your head will be resting on your forearms. Now comes the breath. And let's imagine that our bellies are kind of a lake of breath. The breath rises deep in the belly, moves up through your full chest, and then empties. And we're moving the liquid ojos, which is a big part of our immunity factor, the liquid energy of the body, the lymph, for instance, through the body with the breath. Take a few more breaths here. Now lift your head and reverse your arms, so the other arm's on top, and then reverse your legs, so the other ankle's on top. Settle back down and come back into your breath. going to release our arms and lift our knees, put our feet back on the floor. You can kind of put your blocks out of the way now. We're going to come into kind of the opposing pose, which is cradle pose. You want to make sure your body's in the middle of the mat, side to side. And we're going to put our feet as wide as the mat. So now the feet are far apart. We're going to let the knees knock together. If your knees can't reach with your feet that wide, then you can scooch your feet in a little bit. Reach your hands to the sky, and we're going to cross the arms right over the chest and let the arms kind of dangle at our sides. Look up to the sky and draw your chin slightly toward your chest to elongate the back of the neck. Now we're squeezing some of the places that were stretched open in the last pose and stretching open other places like that place between your shoulder blades and at the back of the pelvis. So let's breathe into those new open places through the back body. And we're going to reverse the arms. We can just leave the legs how they are. And we'll take a few more breaths. Let's release the arms and we'll walk the feet back to center. We're going to lift the pelvis and just shake the pelvis a little. That kind of reorganizes the three pelvic bones. And release. Good. All right, well, let's come up to standing. I'd like to do a brief balance practice. I think that's just such an important part of our work together. And then we'll come back down to Shavasana. So you're going to want to stand at the back of your mat in mountain pose. So feet are lined up under the center of your thighs. And we're going to sway a little side to side in mountain pose. My feet are parallel, by the way. I just feel the different parts of my feet taking my weight. And then we're going to sway a little forward and back. And by the way, the harder the surface that you do this part of the practice on, the easier it'll be. I'm on a couple of rugs, so it's very squishy. That's more challenging. If you're on like a wooden floor or a ceramic floor, that would be more support. All right, now balance your weight over your feet, spread it through your toes, the front of your foot, the back of your foot, and spread it to both feet evenly. We're going to lift our shoulders to our ears and then draw the shoulders down the back. And that might have the tendency to kind of poke out our ribs, so we're going to draw the low ribs back. So our shoulders are down the spine, but we're not poking at the ribs. So we're going to do split mountain pose. We're going to take a big step forward with the right foot, and then press down through both legs and both hands. That really activates the limbs. Releve, we're going to lift our heels and our arms. Draw those shoulder blades down the back. Find your breath. And then flying bird, we're going to tilt onto that front foot, right arm forward, left arm back. By the way, you could be hanging onto a wall or hanging onto a chair. And then bound stork, we're going to bring that left knee forward and bind it with our hands. And realign over the standing foot. And mountain pose, breath of joy. And if you're working around a weakness or an injury that prevents you from standing, you can always do this practice from the chair, doing the upper part of the body, lifting your leg from the chair, and that'll be working your core as well. So let's do the other side. We're going to step forward on the left foot, split mountain pose, and press down through all limbs. Nice and strong. We really want to kind of activate the limbs. Releve, lift your heels and your arms, slide your shoulders down your back. Lots of room on each side of your neck. And then tilting forward onto the left foot for flying bird, left arm forward. Find your breath. Bound stork, that right knee comes into your hands. Realign over the standing foot. And mountain pose, breath of joy. We'll do that a few times. Just move some energy through the body. Good. So let's start moving backwards from the top of the mat. We're going to move backwards. We're going to take the right foot back for split mountain pose again. You can make this pose more challenging by taking a wider step or make it gentler by taking a smaller step. Press down through all your limbs. Releve. Now we're going to step on the back foot and lift the left foot. Find a balance there. Mountain pose. Stepping back with the left foot. Press. Releve. And step back. Mountain pose. And we're going to shake it out. Stepping forward with the right leg. Press. Releve. Flying bird, right arm forward. And we'll come into paper doll. So we're bringing our limbs so they're like a paper doll. And down stork. We're going to bring our right hand up into the air and bend the standing knee. Put your left hand on your left hip and straighten the left leg forward. Mountain pose. Let's try the other side. Left foot steps forward, split mountain pose, and press. Releve. Flying bird on the left foot, left arm forward. Paper doll, we're flattening all the limbs to the front. We're tilting the torso to the left. And bound stork. And then this is called double angle pose. So the left hand goes up to the sky, right hand on your right hip, and we're going to bend the standing leg and straighten the right leg, reaching the right foot to the front. And release, breath of joy, a couple of times. Let's come back down. We'll do a couple of final poses and then move into Shavasana. So let's come down seated on the floor with your legs out in front of you. Let's work in the leg and hip area a little bit more. So we're going to lean back on our hands. So this is a relaxed kind of staff pose, not upright, but leaning back. So there's not much tension yet in the legs. And we're just going to point and flex the feet a few times. Move the triple ankles. And then flex. And we'll walk our hands forward and sit up in staff pose. Your hands go right outside your hips. And we're arching the chest slightly, drawing those shoulder blades down the back, reaching up through the crown of the head. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. This is a good pose for posture. And we're going to work the core a little bit. So let's take the right arm up in the air. You want to place that right arm right outside your ear, and then the left arm up in the air. Now you're using your posture muscles to sit upright. We'll take a few breaths here. And release your hands. So I'd like to end with twisted roots with cactus arms. So we'll come back down on our backs, and you'll need your blocks again. One block on each side would be probably useful. We're going to draw our knee. Oh, whoops, before we do that, we're going to take the left knee over the right knee, and we're stacking those knees up, no space in between. And we're going to let both legs fall to the right until we can prop up the knees in some fashion on the right side. So we've taken basically our lower body as twisted to the right, and we're propping the knees. Now, arms out in T, and we're going to bend at the elbow so your fingertips are to the sky. And then we're going to ease the forearms back. So we're kind of in this goal post pose, and then we're going to come into cactus. And you could also put blocks under your hands or pillows under your hands if they don't want to come all the way down. And then we're going to roll our head to the left, and we'll take a couple of breaths there. Let's roll the legs and the head back to center and release the arms. And we'll reverse the cross of the legs. So now the right leg's on top. You'll be using your block over on the right side. We're going to lean our legs over to the right and prop the knees. Make our goal post arms, and then ease the forearms back into cactus and roll the head to the right side. A few more breaths. And we'll come back to center, unwind your legs. Let's just give ourselves a little knee hug here. And then we're going to slide the legs long to the bottom of the mat and bring our arms to our sides, palms up. Rock a little in your head. Find the center balance point where your head is in the middle. Close your eyes and feel that delightful heaviness of your body. Coming down into Shavasana. Allowing the body to become earthbound, relaxed. This is our healing mode. Noticing where you are. Allowing yourself to be at ease right there in this moment, exactly as it is. Feel the subtle pathways open as the breath sweeps through. And we'll begin to awaken again, to twinkle fingers and toes, to stretch, to move.